were languishing at the bottom of the league before they hired Owen Da Gama on a 6-month contract. And then he led them to safety, finished in 13th place ultimately. But 6 months have elapsed and they could not come to a contract agreement, and Magesi are letting him go. And then you've got the case of Durban City. Of course, they were the champions of the Motsepe Foundation Championship. They are now in the PSL, having been promoted. And the coach who led them there, Usimo Dladla, he's been let go, right? And the reasoning that came from the chairman of Durban City is that he doesn't quite believe he's cut out for the level because he's never coached in the PSL before. So I want to ask the question, Chuck, is it unfair, these practices, or is it just business?
I think you can hear both sides of the argument, because if Magesi signed Owen Da Gama to a 6-month contract, that means the job is just to keep us safe, or even if we go down and we drop into the lower division, we're done. And so he does deliver on what the mandate was, which is to keep Magesi in the top flight of South African football, and he does that, right? I don't know then if you coach that Clinton Lawson prior, who had won a Culling Black Label Cup, but he has then said publicly, I'm stepping away from the job because I can't extract more from these players than what I've had. And that was them languishing at the bottom of the table. So Owen Da Gama comes in to do a job effectively, right? The Sam Allardyce thing, keep us afloat. In my mind, if the guy took you from where you were and you were then safe, I think 2 points away from top 8, then you became effectively safe from the drop. Why move away from him? What should then go to the idea of Udladla at Durban City? The guy who got you there, the guy who's familiar with the players, because when he came in, Jay, they were struggling as well. Durban City. Usimo comes in, stabilizes everything. They finish 4th, number 1. The next season they win the actual championship to go directly into the PSL. Why part ways with that? Because one, he's dealt with 2 scenarios, right? Because that's what tends to be said about teams being promoted. It's not going to be as easy as you have it in that league, because when you're playing that stylish football, scoring goals, playing this particular style, when you get to the top flight, things change. And things become difficult. Can you survive? Can you switch on that mode? Usimo has proven to me, Jay, that he can do both things. He can keep a team afloat or rescue their form, and also he can go on to win things. So for me, he has no experience, but when he came into the job, he found you guys struggling with the very same players, because it's not like at the NFT players, they overhaul players and they sign 10, 11 players. With the same core that he had, guys them to 4th, adds a bit of players here and there, goes all the way to win the actual championship. For me, the guy who knows the club best, the guy who knows the players best in terms of how to turn things around, how to go all the way on a winning run and win the actual title, is Usimo Dladla. So for me, Jay, it doesn't make sense to let go of the man. Yes, he has 0 experience, but stories go on to say he's going to Amazulu, which is a PSL club. So clearly someone has found some value in him. So if you're Durban City, you've since gone down to the first division, you've come back up again with a guy who's done it all in terms of stabilizing, in terms of winning the actual cup. And that guy is going to an established PSL team. I think you've dropped the ball.
Yeah, Chuck, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right, particularly in the case of Usimo Dladla, right? Because when I read the reasoning from the chairman at Durban City, he says he did well in the first division, right, in the lower league, and he showed himself to be good at that level. But he's never coached in the PSL, and I don't know what he's gonna do, and I want to take that risk. And similarly in the case of Owen Da Gama, because you feel, and as someone who empathizes again in these discussions with labor as opposed to the employer, when Da Gama does then do the business and does as well as he did, it feels as though you should reward him for that, you know. But it's not personal, Chuck. It is business. It is business, you know, because if the agreement, as you point out with an Owen Da Gama, is here's the situation, here's what we need, right? We need you for 6 months, and we'll reevaluate at the end of that 6 months. And they did reevaluate. They went to the table of negotiation. Now we don't know what numbers were spoken, right? And therefore we don't know what Owen Da Gama is going to get, where he's going. We don't even know what is the pay for PSL coaches. So I can't sit here and say he was lowballed or he was being greedy, you know. But what we do know is that they couldn't come to an agreement. And as the organization, they have every right to say, well, this is too rich for us and we're walking away from this conversation, right? Same thing with like Usimo Dladla, that if the feeling, for whatever reason, as I'm saying, it feels like it's arbitrary, right, and random. But when you actually do investigate the comments, the feeling is that his level is over there, and yeah, that might feel personal, and it might feel personal to Simo Jaja as well. But if the owner has deduced that in order for us to achieve our goal of staying in the PSL, what we need is a PSL ready coach, or a coach with experience in the PSL. Now that begs the question, how do people get experience unless you give it to them, you know? But we've seen this in football, Chuck, where we've got coaches who are thought to be relegation specialists.
Yeah.
And you go and get them when you are in a particular situation,
Yeah.
you know? And the same time, Chuck, on the flip side, and which is why I can say it's just business, is because you can have a Jose Rivero who says after 3 years, and now his CV is healthier than what it was when he first came to South Africa, and Al Ahly come calling like, I'm out. Even before the last game of the season,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, I
he
have to
can
leave
say,
now.
I'm out, because we thought it was a family thing. I like that. That was my premise, right? When we saw the statement after the MTN8 final and his emotions, and as I'm saying in the statement, Pirates included, like the distance between him and his family. And so when he leaves, the feeling is that, oh, he's going to be closer to his family, and he's not in Spain, but is in Egypt, which is closer to Spain than it's South Africa. And then since he's come out and said he had nothing to do with his family, right? It was just the next step in his career. Same thing with Uramovic, who said he wants to spend time with his parents.
Why do you have to lie, though?
I don't know why he had to lie. I don't know why he had to lie. And the thing is, when he left TS Galaxy, they had started, I think, six games in a row where they didn't have a win, you know, and he left them in a ditch.
Yeah.
And then he went to greener pastures. Not personal, just business at the end of the day for him as well. That at some point, and we know before the start of the season, there was conversation that he was going to go to Raja Casablanca, and seemingly that was blocked, and he didn't seem happy to be in the job anymore. And so when the opportunity once again came his way to go to what he deduced was like a higher level, he took that, regardless of the fact that the team that he coached and that he loved or he connected to the fans with were now in a perilous situation. You know, it's just business, and that's what I think all of this is, Chuck.
That's just business, but there must be some ethics. There must be some guiding principles in terms of.
You would hope so.
Because if I win you the ultimate prize, the biggest prize that's available to us as Durban City, formerly Maritzburg City, that's the league. And you're telling me after having done that, the greatest thing, have Maritzburg won a domestic cup in the PSL? I don't recall. The greatest thing this team has ever had, and obviously they had to go down to get it. But we have a title. I bring you a title, and I'm out of a job. It doesn't quite make sense because Maritzburg, Jay, were relegated having had Premier League tried and trusted coaches at the helm. So this guy's a breath of fresh air. He's won something for you guys. He's familiar with the players. Why not stick to him? That's why I get it that it's business, Jay, but there must be some ethics because he has brought you this far. He's taken you to a particular level. It's not like Maritzburg are always competing in the top 8. They are, for most part, they're always battling relegation anyway. How much worse can Glada do? Because you're always on the brink of the drop. You're always fighting in not always, but sometimes you're in the playoffs to save yourself. So I don't know, man. I think they're on some high. Farouk Adoja needs to, but they're expecting great things, but nah, man. I think if you come back to down to earth, these PSL managers that you want, they haven't won anything on their CV. They've got the coaching qualifications, they've got the experience, but what have they won? Because most of them, they do this carousel thing where they're not bringing much to the team. They're just switching chairs. The teams maintain their position. This guy has been with you when you were struggling, got you to fourth, stabilized. You won the actual league that was in front of you. Now you're now in the PSL. Why not him? He's got experience with you guys.